I know what you're thinking. Darren's made a rookie mistake and is recording his videos in portrait rather than landscape. But this is a collection of my guitar learning playing tips which are recorded in portrait so they can be displayed as shorts. What I will do is every now and again I'll collect up some of them and put them together into a bite-sized video. Hi, here's another diamond guitar tip from Darren White at Guitars Are Hard. Are you thinking about learning, or have you started learning or playing guitars? Here's something no one told you. You are gonna suck and you're gonna be frustrated, and you need to learn to love that suck, because everyone sucks at first. All your guitar heroes did. They were all exactly where you are now. Here's a massive insight. There's no such thing as talent. There's only learning and practice. The more you do of both of those, the more talented you get. Here's a statistic: 95% of new guitarists quit in their first year, which shows you something about this sort of time scale. Most of those quit in their first month, which shows you that the ones that went on to be actual guitarists gave it more than a year. That's what you have to do too. It needs commitment. Hi, another diamond guitar tip here from Darren White at Guitars Are Hard. Are you starting to learn guitar, thinking of learning guitar? What most people do is get one of these, an acoustic. Is it the right thing to do? Acoustics are great because everything you need is here. I need to tune that. But they have one downside, which is thicker strings. What you might find is that it's easier to play an electric which has thinner strings, and also because the songs sound more like what you're trying to copy. Obviously this will cost more because you also need to get a lead and a practice amp, but this might be the way to go because it's ultimately easier for you to start playing with. But the choice is yours. Go to a guitar shop, try out both, get advice. Thank you. Hi, Darren here from Guitars Are Hard with another diamond guitar tip. Are you about to start on your guitar learning journey? Your first guitar, go to a guitar shop, pick up and try a few different guitars out. This is my acoustic. I went and tried out a load of bigger guitars than this, dreadnoughts, and what I found was that I just couldn't get my arm over it. It was too big. I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't gone to that guitar shop. My go-to guitar for learning new things, for learning new songs, is this S-style guitar. The reason I like it, and I wouldn't have known this if I just ordered it online, is that it's got a really low action, which is the distance from the strings to the fretboard. It's got a lovely thin satin neck, and the fretboard isn't thick. So all in all, this makes it a very easy guitar to play. Go to a guitar shop, take their advice, pick the guitar that's right for you. Hi, welcome to another diamond tip from me, Darren White of Guitars Are Hard. Is don't spend too little on a guitar. Ultra cheap guitars can be difficult and hard to play. They can have scratchy, uneven frets that cause buzzing. They can have terrible action, can have intonation you can never sort out. This S-style guitar is from a company called East Coast and is very affordable, £100. Look at reviews, look at YouTube. You'll learn some great stuff there. Another affordable guitar maker is Harley Benton of Toman. They make some great guitars. One thing I hear a lot from people is they've got the wrong size hands for playing guitars. I have teeny tiny hands. I've also heard people say that their hands are too big. Look for other ways of holding those strings down. Sometimes you can't get all three fingers in. Sometimes one can do it. Sometimes you can do it with two. This is one time when size does not matter. Hello, another diamond tip from Darren White at Guitars Are Hard. Your pick, are you holding it right? I've seen a lot of people holding it like I am now, with their thumb and their finger sort of parallel and a lot of pick sticking out. That's totally wrong. What you have to do is put your fingers almost at a right angle to each other. So there's the bottom of it, and then bring the thumb over the top, have it at a sort of right angle to where your thumb is. Also, only leave a little bit of that pick sticking out. That way you'll get a better grip on it. It's all you need. You won't lose it, it won't fly away. So that finger down, that finger across. That's how a guitar pick should be held. Hi, and welcome to another diamond guitar tip by me, Darren from Guitars Are Hard. Do you know the right way to pick strings, to pluck them? Might be a silly question, but this is something I wish somebody had shown me. What a lot of people tend to do is kind of flick away, which is not a very economic motion. What you should be doing is picking down so your pick rests on the string below. That's a very economic action. Don't flick away. Go down, rest on the next string, and then you're perfectly placed to come back for the next note. It takes a bit of practice to do, it takes a bit of getting used to. You have to sort of train yourself to do it, especially if you've been playing for some time and you've been doing something a bit more extravagant. I'm exaggerating there. I wish somebody told me that at the beginning. Hi, welcome to another diamond tip from me, Darren White of Guitars Are Hard. This is the one I wish somebody had told me. When fretting a note, that is pressing down with your finger on the string behind the fret to form the note, one thing a lot of people do is press too hard, especially beginners. What you need to do is, starting from no pressure, just push down on that until you hear the note without any buzzing or clipping or ringing. And that's as hard as you need to press. If I press too hard, and you can probably hear this, can you hear me? I'm bending the string, potentially putting it out of tune. Pressing too hard is the enemy of getting around the fretboard quickly. That's all you need to do, as little as possible. Welcome to another tip from me, Darren at Guitars Are Hard. Here's another diamond tip just for you. When you're strumming, especially if you're strumming a acoustic and making some big swipes, a lot of times you'll see people doing these really elaborate things from the wrist. That's going to hurt your wrist. You've got little muscles there. Where you should be strumming from is the elbow, and it's a little hard to show you with the guitar at this angle, but there's a big muscle up there on the elbow. So if you keep your wrist straight and do it from the elbow, it's a lot less action. There's a lot less of your wrist to hurt from doing that. Thank you for watching. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. When you're first learning something, be it a chord or a chord progression or a new song or a new technique, start very slowly. Only speed up, only move on when you've got the technique right. Remember, you've got it right when you can no longer get it wrong, not the first time you get it right. So keep the technique perfect as you speed up. So you go from to that's the way you learn a song, especially when you come to changes. Hi, do you want to be a better guitarist? Well, lucky you, here's 9 of my best tips, with a special bonus longer tip at the end. A little thank you for those of you that hang around. Oh, and all this is shot in portraits because originally these were shorts. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to another diamond guitar tip with me, Darren White from Guitars Are Hard. This is quite a biggie. When you're playing the guitar, try to keep your thumb from creeping over. I know it's kind of natural to do that, but what you end up then doing is playing the guitar kind of like a club, and it kind of encourages you to grip too hard. What you should have instead is your thumb in the center of the back of the neck. And the reason it's a good idea to do that is it's better technique. It opens your hand out and kind of makes it bigger, but also puts the right pressure in the right place. Because you'll see your guitar heroes do that. And sometimes even play chords using their thumb, but that's only because as they first learned the correct and proper technique, and so can you. Thank you. Bye now. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. Play simplified versions of chords. I'm forming the open C major here, which is quite tricky to get to, I find sometimes, but do you need all these notes? As we know, a major chord is made up of the root, the C, the third and the fifth. Well, in that case, these are C, E, open G, C, open E. But what's happening there is that we've got C, E, G, third, we've got the root, the third and the fifth. The rest of it's just repeated. So we could just play those 3 notes and we get the same chord, which is a lot easier if, say, you're coming from the A. If you're coming from, say, the D. Make life simple for yourself. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. Remember to play with your fingertips and not other parts. And also, play till your fingers bleed sounds cool, but it's not something you want to do. What might happen is, because that finger's used for virtually every chord, you might find it gets too painful. Well, there's nothing to stop you moving along and using the next 2 fingers to give that one a bit of a rest. Don't ignore pain, especially any nerve or muscular or tendon pain. Hi, another diamond tip here from Guitars Are Hard. Chord diagrams that show you which fingers to put on which strings aren't written in stone. You can do what you want. So while this is seen as an A major, you don't have to use those 3 fingers. I've seen lots of people who bar 2 strings of one and then play another finger like this. I play it as a bar of the whole thing. Whatever gets you to the next chord fastest. Here's another diamond tip. Always keep your right hand moving. Don't wait until your left hand has formed the chords. People won't notice if you get it a bit wrong first time. They'll think it's some sort of neat transition, but they will notice if you stop in the middle of the rhythm and wait for your fingers to form the chord. So just keep that hand moving. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. When you're first learning something, be it a chord or a chord progression or a new song or a new technique, start very slowly. Only speed up, only move on when you've got the technique right. Remember, you've got it right when you can no longer get it wrong, not the first time you get it right. Keep the technique perfect as you speed up. So you go from to that's the way you learn a song. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. Let me show you some bad technique that I do all the time, and it is not anchoring your pick hand on the guitar body or on the scratch plate. So you'll see me do this all the time. So especially when I'm playing solo, you'll often see me with one or more fingers on the guitar body like this. That's all wrong. What you should be doing is having that completely separate, so you can go from picking to strumming if you. So what you should be doing is much more the hand wasn't on the guitar at all. Great to learn songs by playing along with the records, but if there's tricky bits or bits you just can't get, there's nothing wrong with playing those over and over again until you get them. So I'm learning a song where the verse goes like this. Fine, I can play that. Then every other line, it goes into this little riff like this, which again I can play separately, but I have trouble when I put them together. So there's nothing wrong with me doing this endlessly till I get it right. I'm sure you get the idea from that. Same can be said for solos. Just keep going and going until you've got them, so you can't get them wrong. Here's another diamond guitar tip from Guitars Are Hard. You might not be at this stage yet because it's pretty intermediate, but when you're barring, that is holding down lots or most strings, maybe an F or maybe a B, or even mini ones, in that I often kind of bar an A. One of the things to bear in mind is don't use the softest part of your finger, especially not the crease in the joint. What you actually need to do is use the hardest part on the side. You'll be able to play for a lot longer until the pain stops you. I'm in love with this guitar. Hi, here's another diamond guitar tip from Guitars Are Hard. When you first start playing, you might start with bass lines. Then you might move on to well-known but simple riffs. But sooner or later, you need to move on to whole songs, because those party tricks are just that. They're party tricks. You need to learn something all the way through, but not just anything, something you're passionate about, something you really love, something you've always wanted to learn to play. With the exception of one or two things where no one ever expects you to play it all the way through, like this. I know what you're thinking. Darren's made a rookie mistake and is recording his videos in portrait rather than landscape. This is a collection of my guitar learning playing tips which are recorded in portrait so they can be displayed as shorts. I'll collect up some of them, put them together into a video. So these are Darren's diamond tips on Guitars Are Hard. Enjoy. Here's another diamond guitar tip from Guitars Are Hard. Always be a student. Always be ready to learn from others. Even if someone is behind you, they might have a tip you've never heard before. It's true. When you're first learning songs, learn to play the easiest part first. Then you can add some of the more difficult bits. Learn to play along before you do something like hardest bits are always the solos, which can take you forever, especially to play along to the song. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. Practice every single day, even if it's only 5 minutes. Do it every day, you'll get better from it. What's even better is if you can do 10 to 15 minutes of organised, scheduled, structured training. If you play every day, then you will get better overnight as you sleep, as your brain strengthens the neural pathways of what you've just done during the day. So structured training is best, and by that I mean a sort of warm-up, something technical, get between chords, followed by something fun. Always do something fun, be it a song or bits of a song. Keep it fun, and also challenge yourself. Don't keep playing what you're already good at. Keep mixing it up, keep shocking and surprising your brain. Keep playing things that you're maybe not so good at. Here's another diamond guitar tip. When you first start learning, give yourself a goal or a series of goals, a North Star to aim at, be it a song or a number of songs, or joining a band, or playing at a party, or recording a song. Just something, because it'll help you get there faster. You're already recording. How long's that been recording for? When you first start playing guitar, you'll probably play with very simple 2-chord songs. Then you might move on to something with 3 or 4 chords. Before you know it, you'll have graduated to things with lots of chords in them. You can drop the older, simpler songs as you go along. Always be striving though, always be learning songs. Push yourself. You'll have a repertoire of easy, harder, and then reach ones. You'll let go of those easier ones because they just won't be things you'll want to play, but they were important. They got you there. Hi, Darren here from Guitars Are Hard with another diamond guitar tip. Do learn to play along to songs. Even if at first you have to play them slow down, pick up the rhythm. Yeah, that was a disaster. Here's another diamond guitar tip from Guitars Are Hard. You'll want a repertoire of songs, especially if you plan to play them to people or record them. And you always want as many as you can. But to begin with, here's a tip. Don't try learning more than 10. And I know, right at the beginning, 10 seems impossibly high. But keep it to that until you join a band, or you get really proficient, or you get intermediate. Of course, you don't have to be learning 10 at once. You can learn less than 10. But 10's a good max. Although for some, it might be 7, it might be 8, it might be lower. Keep it around about 10. Hi, here's another diamond guitar tip from Guitars Are Hard. When you first start playing, you might start with bass lines. Then you might move on to well-known but simple riffs. But sooner or later, you need to move on to whole songs, because those party tricks are just that. They're party tricks. You need to learn something all the way through, but not just anything, something you're passionate about, something you really love, something you've always wanted to learn to play. Welcome to another Diamond Guitar Tip. Guitars are hard. Buy yourself a stand. Always have your guitar or guitars on that stand. Don't put them away. Leave that stand in the place where you work the most, where you are the most. This is my office from home, my studio, everything, my little den. My guitars are out here and I can pick them up at any time and play one, even if it's not plugged in. And even if all you're playing is something a little frivolous. Even if you're not plugged in. I often pick this up and just have a play while I'm thinking. And it helps me think. Who knows, you might even get your guitar 5 a day. That's 5 minutes of playing stroke practice a day. Hello and welcome to another Diamond Guitar Tip from Guitars Are Hard. This isn't so much a tip as it is a chord. It's a interesting, rich chord that's surprisingly accessible to beginners, and it is Emaj7. Emaj7 is made up of E, G, B and D, where G is the minor, the flat third of the major scale, and D is the 7th interval, which gives it its rich, interesting sound. And I'm going to show you 4 different ways of playing this. The first one is 1 string, so it's literally 2nd fret, 2nd string down, the open A string. Couldn't really be easier. The next variant on it is the 2nd string from the bottom, which is the open B. If I fret it there at the 3rd fret, it makes a G note. So there's a 3-finger version where you fret the 3rd string down, the 2nd fret. So combine that with all 1 so far. And there's a 4th version where you put your pinky on the bottom string. 1, 2, 3, 4. That you pick. My favourite is the 2-string version. Can't say fairer than 1 string for a rich and interesting chord. I hope that helps you.